name is Genesis.
I'm Emma.
I'm Brianna.
And we are
the Clean Freaks.
Today we'll be talking to you about sterilization and the autoclave.
Biological monitoring, equipment maintenance,
And of course the Statum. Hi guys, we're going to go over the different parts of PPE that are super important in the dental office. You want to start out with your gown, and then you want to put on your mask. After the mask, you want to put on your glasses, and very lastly, you want to put on your gloves. Today we're going to be using utility gloves because we're going to be in sterilization. Bye guys.
So first we'll be talking about how to sterilize your instruments. You'll want to bring your instruments into the sterilization center in a puncture-proof box like this, so that you're safe and you don't hurt yourself or anyone else while transferring them into the sterilization room. Then you'll want to use the ultrasonic washer. How you want to do this is you want to fill up to the line in here. There's a small line that you fill water into, and then you're going to put your instruments into the basket. And add 1 pump of the Empower into the ultrasonic. You'll close the lid, and you'll set the time to 15. Once it's done, you'll remove the items. You'll rinse them with the water, take them out and dry them. Place this back. After you have dried them with the paper towel, make sure they are completely dried so it doesn't cause any troubles when you take them into the sterilizer, the autoclave. You'll want to put this on your paper. You get it from the drawer. You'll wrap it with 3 pieces of tape only. And you'll use the small indicator and put it inside of your cassette so that everyone knows the date and which sterilizer it's going into. You just slide this in here. It's hard to do with your gloves on. So. You'll fold this as if you're wrapping an envelope. Try to pack it very tight because you want to make sure that the items don't get damaged in the sterilizer. You want to write on the side what type of cassette this is so that it doesn't have to be opened and risk contamination when putting it away, so that the next person that uses these instruments knows what instrument set this is. And this is a basic set, so you just write basic on it, as well as your name, the date, and once again, which sterilizer. You always put the sterilizer that it is going into so that we know if the sterilizer malfunctions, and if it doesn't get clean, we know what day it was and which sterilizer stopped working. Next, we'll be talking about how to pack individual instruments. You want to make sure that you get an instrument that can fit in here and will not be too tightly packed or will be too loosely packed. Something like this will be way too big for this instrument. The sterilizer won't be able to properly clean it if it's in a bag this big. When you find your pouch for the sterilizer, you'll want to see that there's a golden brown section, and then there's a part that has cocoa steam vapor. If these have been penetrated, you'll see that they change color, and that's how you know that it has been properly sterilized in the sterilizer. Once again, you'll want to make sure that you put your name, the date, and which sterilizer it's going into. Because we have these big gloves on, sometimes it's hard to open this pack up. And in order to save time in the sterilization room, you just want to push it out a little bit with your thumb and slide the instrument in. These items would also go in the ultrasonic. They would go in a smaller container and not be loosely set inside of the ultrasonic. After they are inside the pouch, you want to take this tab off and make sure that you fold it where the dotted line is and close this securely. Once these are complete, if you are not the one running the autoclave for that day, you want to put it in here, the biohazard warning sign, and this is where you know that you can touch this, and put it inside the container. Once you have your instrument cassette and your individual pouched instruments, you want to place them inside of your autoclave. Your autoclave should have a small tube here that indicates whether or not it is filled with enough water. If it's where the green is, it is good. This could actually be filled a little bit more. And if it was down at the red, that's where you know you definitely need to fill it up some more. When you put the individual pouches in, you do not want to stack them on each other so that they can be properly sterilized. So you would want to put them in just like this. You can slide it out and slide it in if it makes it easier. The same for your cassette. You want to slide it in. You want to put your water inside this small white part here. Here you go. You close the door. And then there are buttons here that you can press for if you have unwrapped pouches, packs, or hand pieces. For this, we have pouches, and so we click that and hit start.
Hi, today we're going to be talking about biological monitoring. The purpose of biological monitoring in the dental office is to ensure that sterilization processes are effective and that all instruments are free from harmful microorganisms. These are the capsules we use in order to monitor these devices. It is important to label these, and when labeling, it is important to include essential information such as the date of sterilization, the sterilization used, and the operator's initials. This helps track the monitoring process and ensure accountability. The next process is to crush the capsules for biological monitoring. For us, we have this steam incubator, so you would just put that in there and put the lid on, and the capsules will open so that the biological indicator inside can be exposed to the sterilization process. After writing all the necessary information on the indicator, you would place it in a bag with its instrument, and you would put the bag inside the AutoCAD. After that process has been completed, you want to check to make sure that the spores have been killed. If it is purple, it has been sterilized and the spores were killed. If it's yellow, there has been something going on in your machine and it needs to be fixed as soon as possible. After sterilization, the crushed capsules should be placed in the steam indicator. This has to be a certain temperature to work, just depending on the sterilization used, and typically lasts from 24 to 48 hours. After it is removed, it needs to be logged in the monitor, and you will put the time that it has been sterilization, the cap color, what incubator it was in, and you put your initials and what time it came out. This is going to be normally stored up here, but you don't want to go in there with dirty hands. So, hi guys, today we're going to be talking about the stratum, We don't have one in office, but here's a lovely picture for you guys to see. Much like the other AutoCast system in the dental facility, you need to check the water to make sure it is at a good level, and if it's not, you need to fill it with distilled water, and distilled water only. When loading it, you need to make sure that the instruments are not too tightly packed in there in order to let steam effectively circulate. You must use the appropriate sterilization cycle based on the type of instrument you are using. After the sterilization has been complete, you would just drain it like you would any of the other sterilizers. And there is a button on the bottom to turn it off.
Hi guys, I'm going to be showing you how we do maintenance in the sterilization room. We're starting with the ultrasonic today. So I'm going to go ahead and see this open tab. Go ahead and give that a good open. It's going to rinse right here, and that's how we know the water's coming out of the ultrasonic. We're going to let it drain for a while, and then as it's draining, I'm going to go ahead and prop this up so that it can dry. And then we're going to give her a good rinse on the inside once the water has fully drained out of it. Give her a good rinse. Like that. And then make sure this stays open so that it can dry out properly. Next, we're going to move on to pre-cleaning and disinfecting all of our surfaces. So, I'm going to grab my first wipe, which will be my pre-cleaning wipe, and then I'm going to grab a second wipe, which will be my disinfecting wipe. I have a friend here who's going to help me. She's going to follow behind me and make sure I get all of my surfaces clean. Make sure to get all of the counter and every single handle really good, guys. We got to keep this place clean to protect our patients, to make sure that we don't spread any contaminations or anything like that. If anything is blocking your way, go ahead and lift it up and swipe under it. Let's not be lazy, gang. Make sure you get all of the overhead cabinets too. Excuse me for a minute. And once you're done wiping, go ahead and take this nasty thing and make sure you throw it in here. Thanks, guys. Hello again. We're going to be checking the maintenance on our water and our autoclave. So, as you can see here, as Genesis was talking about earlier, you can definitely tell that it is filled up in the green, but it could be filled up a little bit more. So, if I'm going to fill it up just a little bit more, I'm going to go over to our cabinet over here and make sure I grab one that's full. Make sure I grab distilled water. Please don't put regular water in this, guys. It needs to be distilled or you'll mess up the whole machine. So, go ahead and take the cap off of this. Pour in slowly. And as you can see, we're well into the green. So I'm going to put this back. I'm going to go ahead and shut this. I'm going to bring you guys over here to our A3 sterilizer. So, as we check the water in here, if it's too short, you might have to get a stool. But if you're like me, you just kind of jump and look in there. I see we got some water, but we could use a little bit more. So like I said, make sure it's distilled, no sink water. I'm gonna uncap this. Grab our funnel so we don't make a mess. Slowly pour. And for the sake of time, I'll stop there. Put this back. Make sure to clean up after yourselves, guys, and put things back where they belong. Put that back right there. Shut this cabinet. And we're good to go, gang. Hi guys, it's Emma here, and I'm going to be showing you how to do your atomizer pictures. This is a really important step in your maintenance for your vacuum lines, like in your operatory, and so I'm going to show you guys that today. So, first step is to make sure you have all of your PPE on. This includes your gown, your gloves, your mask, your glasses, and your smile. And so, for the sake of time, I went ahead and filled this up to number 1. Number 1 is the highest, it's the max, and this is what's going to correlate with which hole you put this on, because if it's bubbling initially when you put it on, that means it's not working. So you want to put it on so it suctions, and then once it gets down to the next level, it'll usually start bubbling, and that's how you know it's done. So I went ahead and filled this one up. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and get our vacuum line cleaner. And then also you can see here that it goes 1 through 4. And we're gonna do 3. So we're gonna tip it till we get about pretty close to 3. If you get a little too much, that's all right. Just give it a tip back. There we go. I'm gonna unscrew this. Pour it in there. Recap. Place back on my cart. Give it a good swirl. We're gonna go ahead, snap this on here, and there you go. Here's your atomizer picture ready to dry your lines at the end of the night. Thank you.